Hello, friends. Pull up a chair and uncork the Liberty Cider, because we've arrived at the birthday bash of a nation. The date, July 4th, 1776. The place, Philadelphia. The mood, somewhere between this might be treason and pass me another quill. Let's rewind a bit. The colonies were knee-deep in rebellion. Muskets were cracking, and Britain was still acting like the clingy ex who just couldn't take a hint. But talk of independence? That had gone from radical chatter to urgent necessity. The colonies weren't asking for better treatment anymore. They were ready to break up, publicly, permanently, and with fireworks, eventually. So the Second Continental Congress handed the pen to a quiet Virginian with a dramatic streak, Thomas Jefferson. He wasn't the loudest in the room, but oh, he could write. In a few short days, with a feather, parchment, and probably too little sleep, he produced a document that would outlive kings. His draft opened with lines that have stirred souls for centuries. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Simple. Profound. A declaration of who the Americans wanted to be, not just what they wanted to escape. Jefferson blamed King George III for all the colonial woes, and let's just say, he didn't hold back. Taxes, tyranny, burned towns, standing armies. It was all there, like a Yelp review of empire with one flaming star. Of course, Congress couldn't resist tweaking it. Ben Franklin, ever the editor, reportedly told Jefferson, "I never use the word we when I can avoid it." Then John Adams, being Adams, insisted on sharpening the logic, and a committee of 5, including those two plus Roger Sherman and Robert Livingston, refined the draft. After days of heated debate and some major edits, including removing a strong anti-slavery passage that made Southern delegates squirm, they reached a consensus. And on July 2nd, 1776, Congress voted for independence. Wait, July 2? Yes, that was the actual vote. John Adams even predicted that July 2nd would be celebrated with parades and bells for centuries. Turns out July 4th, the day the final text of the Declaration of Independence was adopted and approved, got all the glory. And no, they didn't all sign it on July 4 either. That came later in August, and some stragglers even signed in the fall. But that didn't stop them from ringing bells, firing guns in the air, and lighting up the night in celebration. For once, the colonies stood united, not just in what they opposed, but in what they believed. The Declaration didn't grant them freedom. It claimed it. It was a bold, elegant "we're out" that dared the world to take notice. King George did take notice. So did the British Navy, which was already en route to New York, with more soldiers than any previous campaign. So while the ink dried on Jefferson's manuscript of freedom, General George Washington stared across the waters, knowing what came next. No more words, no more votes. The war was about to heat up. Next time, we head to the smoke, chaos, and heartbreak of the battlefield, where liberty's price would start to show. Join me for episode 13, New York Falls, Washington's Retreat Begins. Because every birth, even of a nation, comes with its first stumble.